So there's an ancient proverb that talks about reaping and sowing, something that you reap what you sow. And you know, it's one of those things where I guess it's something that was just taken out of context. Now I could sow seeds onto some land, but if the soil's not fertile, it don't matter how much sowing I do, I'm not gonna reap anything. And I think it boils down to, actually, I can't really speak on this, not to get into philosophy, but one thing that became apparent with Rene Baruch is, and you see the same people for the most part every day. And that's something that like really is good if you know what that means, what that implies. Most people I know, they haven't really moved past high school. You know, they still have. It's really much where that was the time where they met people and they met friends, and for the most part, that's when they were pretty much themselves. This is before they really kind of got their heart broken and just destroyed by um, going into the working force, whatever. So in high school, it was like a neutral setting. You know, you see the same people every day for pretty much like 5 years, and you grow familiar with people. You see them on a daily, routine basis, and you know a person by what they do, how they behave, how they respond, how they act. You get to observe them in a setting, so where you can't be yourself, but you just don't know how to be anybody else but yourself. They're already training you to be somebody else. And before that training takes effect, most people are just themselves. They're like, no, nothing was wrong with me before I came here. By the time they graduate, they're gonna see that everything is wrong with them. That's basically what I got from the school system. What good was it to me if all it did was just destroy my self-esteem? So, outside of high school, there was college. Now, there, it can be depending on, I guess, the school that I went to. You saw pretty much the same people, but you didn't really see them. Well, a lot of people you didn't take classes with, and in the classes, it was money was involved, even though I didn't have a sense of what that meant. But it was more business. It was like, I'm in this class, I need to take, paying for this. So much was focused on the subject and trying to get the grade and really trying to graduate. But for me, obviously, none of that mattered because it was the only time where I got to live outside of my parents' jurisdiction, which was heavily oppressive. Extremely. I mean, as a man, as a boy, it was okay, but as a man, I mean, I didn't date women. I couldn't even bring a woman to that. Nothing was talked about me and how I should be related to them. Wasn't at all. So in college, it was like, yo, that was all I really was focused on. I almost flunked out. I didn't even know it was possible to flunk out because I'm thinking, okay, I'm paying. But yeah, you can flunk out. So anyway, I had a lot of friends in college. So now outside of college, that's when you get some job and you just that's it. Now you have to be an employee when you go into that building. And it's no more being yourself. You gotta be how they want you to be. That's what all your training was for prior. How to behave at these jobs. And be obedient and all that. But a person was really more so themselves in high school, more so in college. At least I think. I think by the time you go to college, you're just more seasoned. But at any rate, I talk to a lot of people who just, their friends were from high school. Even their lovers, their spouses, they met in high school. And, past that, person never really got a chance to spend time with somebody on well, that was the main difference between high school and college. College is like, if you go to a university, it's just open. You got several different buildings, several different majors, and people who study in business may not even ever interact or meet somebody who's studying art. So they're already getting grouped and put into these different camps, and these fraternities here and sororities here and basketball team here. So they got all these groups. But in high school, this is in one building for the most part. So regardless of what everybody's doing, you see people in the hallway and you talk. So to see somebody on a daily basis, on a consistent basis, it allows you to become familiar with them. That's like what you know, get into that word family, familiar. These people live in the same house who are familiar with one another's habits and routines and likes and dislikes. But that don't necessarily mean that they're close. Doesn't necessarily mean that they really understand one another, or definitely doesn't mean that they love one another. Always an implication that love should be there, but if it's not cultivated, it's not going to be there. So with the neighborhood, you see people on a routinely basis, on an everyday basis. Versus being familiar with a person's body. Like I know this person always doing this, or this person got this tick here, and this person anything to do with the body is just canceled. So how people know one another is through speaking, is through talking. And this was all but absent in high school and college. We didn't, other than in the hallways and the breaks, maybe before or after class or something of that nature, you never really got a chance to just talk. And then what was there to talk about? Well, then see, in high school, people were just naturally social, just like as children, they're just naturally social. Put them around each other, they'll talk about something. Hey, what's going on? It's a natural curiosity. It's a complete mystery in front of you, and it's like everywhere. Everybody's a mystery. But there are those that were shy, timid, or however the case may be. And so, people will be familiar based on things concerning the body or just, and then you get into a whole bunch of superficial things. Like, I know this person because they're the only one that got a car, or because this person, how they dress, or this person wears this a certain way. You see how people in high school, they're always big on parents because this is at their most sensitive moment in their life where the world is looking at them and asking them, who are you that we should be giving our attention to? They didn't have to ever prove this before. And all of a sudden, they're being asked to do something that's impossible for them to do. Do you want me to prove that I'm worthy of love? I was getting all this love before. Now you want me like, what am I supposed to do? I can't. What is that? What are you guys buying? Okay, let me try to sell what you're buying. You want to buying what I got to do to get love, basically. So going back to the neighborhood, so you got this environment where people are interacting with each other and the 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 Rav, the person who connects all these pieces together, and it's on certain subjects, topics pertaining to whatever it is that the material that they're reading. The material that they're reading, no one can say they know for a fact what it is that they're reading and understand it. So basically, what you learn is how people approach a subject that they're, for practical purpose, ignorant of, that they just don't understand. So everybody has to reveal their ignorance at some point. As in saying, I don't know what you guys are talking about. You see how people, how do you tackle something where you don't have any understanding? Like, what kind of questions you ask and things of this nature. We kind of got a glimpse of that in high school. You could see people who excel, like, oh, you really know the subject. Well, that just had to do a lot with memorization. A person could just take that book home and, they really didn't have anything better else to do. They would just could memorize that and then come back to class and say all that. And this is not the case. You can take the book home and you can memorize it, but it doesn't mean you understand what it's talking about. And there's this, you have people who've been studying for 10 years and they still like, I don't get any of what I'm talking about. I'm here for 10, I don't know anything that we've been learning. So you're not gaining knowledge. That's the one thing. You're not giving brownie points based on But it has nothing to do with somebody so-called being memorable and knowledgeable of facts and information. You know, they can get into a whole line of questioning on why, you know, why be there and da 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 da. This is where I would say true education comes in. For me, I knew from day one when I became a student, or I said, okay, I was a critic. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I can't dismiss anything that they're saying. I can't just marginalize it or dismiss it or prove it to be false. Right? Which really impressed me, because in any other thing, it was just so easy to do. But this, it was almost like they were, it was like a chess game. It's like they were moving pieces to where it was almost that it's like they kind of knew what I was thinking. You know, you'll say if somebody got something good, want to make it free for everybody, it just be why they do that. I can just go into a whole series of things that they do that just makes complete and perfect sense. So by the time that I came to the group, I knew that in terms of the theory that was being talked about God and everything, I said to lower my head and say, well, this is over my head. Maybe it is true and maybe it is possible. I just don't sense it or see it or feel it. Maybe I have to grow up. Maybe that, I don't know. One thing that I did know is that I was going to learn regardless. I guess they call it a crude way of learning. Like, you can ask a question and the person may not give you an answer, but you will know that these questions are permitted, that they will not get you thrown out. Honestly, there are places where you ask the wrong questions and you'll get you in trouble. Like everybody know about that video of "Don't tase me, bro." You know. So there's always a way to learn, and from people, from any exchange and back and forth between two people, um, you can learn based off of what is said, based off of what is not said. A person, it's quite interesting and a little bit scary that people like to take comfort in thinking that they're hiding from others. You know, and somebody who's seasoned and experienced can just, it's like it's easy. You can size a person up just based on before they even open their mouth. You can just see where they're at. You can just see in terms of their growth and development, in terms of their maturity. And that has to do with just experience. Like, there was a time where I was very superficial about fashion, about how I look, and like I just had just a ridiculous amount of clothes, and even though I didn't know it at the time, but really what I was trying to give off the impression is that I was wealthy, I was rich. Um, that I had an abundance. I wanted to give off that impression of abundance, like class, style. Then I came across a friend who was rich. And this person, like, really, for the most part, wore the same clothes every day. And I remember because I was traveling. We both were traveling. That's how we met. And when it came time for us to relocate, it was just so easy and simple for this guy to relocate. But I was carrying around these two big suitcases and a backpack, and it was just a burden. And it just became like laughable because he was really rich, and I was pretending to be. But when a person really has that kind of money, they don't need to flaunt it. And I thought really it was just kind of it had to do with my self-esteem, you know. So I learned to let that go. Like it was just I outgrew that. I started interacting and meeting particularly women who didn't care about any of that. They were more so interested in how I related to them, how I treated them, how I spoke to them, how I conversated with them, how I danced with them. They didn't care about my clothes. I don't think, you know, I don't know. It just never worked. I never really got a woman based on clothes. It's just, I would just say it's like wisdom or something like that. You just grow, you mature. So let's just give a kind of a weak example of how you go through certain things, how you grow out of certain things, and how you see that there are a lot of things that you spend a lot of energy on and it doesn't pay off. It doesn't give you the results that you wanted. Like I got all these clothes and I wanted to be, you know, treated with this certain kind of respect that I thought that it would get me, and then when it didn't give me that, and I saw that, you know, it was something that somebody who is rich or somebody like I'm trying to impress rich people or attract rich people, and just saw that it was something that they could easily see through. You just let it go. So back to B'nai Baruch and just dealing with people and interacting with people. You know, you're in an environment where you see people every day, and like I say, who they are, their position, how much money they have, their social status, or whatever it is, or whoever they were outside of that classroom does not carry over. A person could pull up in a Bentley, but when they in that classroom, you wouldn't know that. The only thing that represents a person in that classroom is their voice, um, or their form of communication, even sign language. But speaking, communication, talking, no one's gonna start a question and say, well, hey, before I ask my question, everybody, I just want everybody to know how to drive a Bentley. That's my Bentley outside. There's no way you could pull it off. You'll lose points, obviously. They probably flatten those tires by the time you leave the classroom. So you see that, you just see where a person's confidence, um, and how to cultivate confidence. Because where is the confidence going to come from if you got all these external things that you've attached yourself with? Like, whereas for myself, it was clothes. And that's where I was trying to derive some sense of confidence of what it means to be a man or who I was. And so I would appeal towards fashion in order to say, I know I can dress better than anybody else. You know, I wear a different, even if people saying stuff like that, I wear a different outfit every day to impress people. But when you are with somebody, it's just you and that person in the room. Okay, then what is good about that person? What is good about you in terms of that person? It's only so long that a person can be impressed by whatever materialistic possessions that one have, unless you're going to give it to them. And everybody know that money is scarcity. And it's like you can hold that over somebody's head because everybody's looking for money and needing money. But even that wouldn't bring somebody with, my friend who's very rich. I saw that he didn't want to find somebody who wanted him for his money. And that was the reason why he dressed the way he dressed and carried himself the way. You never would knew this guy. I don't know. I would say at least he had over $1 million for various things that he let me know or that I saw. You know. But when we went out on the street, when we went out to a disco or a bar, he didn't, you know, and it's like, how can you come in there like that? How can you come into any place where there are people are gathering socially and present yourself as somebody who has material abundance as a way of gaining interest? And you see that no one would really try to do such a thing. Now, unless you're in that whole league where everybody has money and it's just about, it's a different world, it's a different society. But for the common people, it don't, and it might, you can come in there with like, I guess, I don't know, something that's flashy, something that maybe the people can appraise as something that is valuable. Like, oh, he has diamonds. But the kind of attention, like, it's not, is it really going to be the kind of attention that's going to bring you contentment, or that sense of peace and love? Because now you got to worry about somebody trying to steal or something like that. And even if somebody did, you were in a place where it was safe, would that really bring somebody contentment? That somebody likes your ring, or somebody likes your car, and you know somewhere in the back of your mind that if they had every opportunity to take that car and take that ring and leave you somewhere in a ditch, they would. So this classroom mitigates all those factors. You don't know anything about a person, you know. For the most part, I mean, you can make physical observations. I can tell this person works out, and this person probably doesn't work out. But you know, it's not like a bodybuilding contest. I used to be ripped up. I used to be all like, muscular and stuff. When I came, every factor that America was throwing out, so we're giving manhood to people who have a six pack. We're giving manhood to people, whatever. That's typically what I was chasing. So when I came into this group, into this society, it wasn't so clear what they was giving manhood to. I mean, one reason why obviously it was so clear because you got it just coming in there. You don't have to do anything for it. I just, it just over my head. Like, wait, everybody a man? And it was like, yeah, why not? Well, that's not what the outside world is saying. So, well, that's the reason why we created this world. That's the reason why we created this space. And you're like, well, how and it starts you off on all these kind of different scrutinies. So seeing somebody every day, you say, what's good about this person? It will be made known by their actions, and typically by them speaking. Now, it's a bit of both, because there are lots of things you could do. You don't have to speak. In the classroom, the only thing that really gets heard is when somebody stands up to speak. But all the work that goes into sustaining that environment, you got translators, you got people, especially when they do an event, you got people playing music, you got people writing music, producing music, you know. So they'll have live band, all these any, and it's not that you come see how band perform, but it's just people say, hey, I can play music during the breaks. It's like, okay, well, you're not gonna come in there playing music from the outside. People say, well, could you write something that has something along the lines of the values that we hold up, like connection, love, unity, something good, something positive. And people will write and it's like you got all this music coming in from people in the society. So you have your own. You have your own artist. You got people who are cooking meals. They eat meals together. They eat meals together. It could be 500 or 1,000. They will arrange it to where everybody's eating together. I mean, I can't put them all at one long table, but we can put them at parallel tables and stuff. Everybody eating from food that was cooked in the kitchen, from people, and like it's maybe like some really all you can eat, like feast. Not no like you go to a restaurant, you order one plate, and you get charged. You know, say if one plate costs you $15, you paid a third of that, and you get all you can eat. And then they say you could take some food home. I swear, when I was in Israel, I went and got some food outside of the group, outside of the center, and it cost me like 40 shekels. That's the currency in Israel. And you got one serving. You want some more, you gotta pay extra. 40 shekels. I would say, I don't even want to exaggerate, so I know it was like 3 shekels for breakfast, and like I want to say between 7 to 12 shekels for lunch, and the lunch was equivalent to what I got on the outside. So I can't make that comparison to how much breakfast cost, but 12 shekels compared to 40 shekels. And 12 shekels is all you can eat, and if I still don't know if it's encouraged or not, because it was almost, I just felt guilty. Like, it was the option if I wanted to take some home. Like, I could eat, and I didn't want to be like, yo, man, I'm taking advantage. It's only like 12 shekels, all you can eat. I'm like, well, how can that be? And they say, well, because we all, from the cooks to the people that clean to, it's all in-house. So the people, everybody basically, the collective efforts of everybody reduces the cost versus, say, from this restaurant who you don't really know about, you spending money there, and they're doing it for a profit. They're doing it, but the meals at the center is not for profit. They're actually doing it for the purpose of bringing people together. It's like the goal is different. The goal is for connection, not for. The goal is for, you could say, to gain love. If you could say it's the profit. We want you to love eating here. We want you to love sitting with us and enjoying a meal. And we're doing it for the love. We're doing it for the, it's like people get together because it's all people that be over it. They say, oh, hey, we could do things better if we do it this way. And people say we could do things better. And it's like what they call open software. Everybody's seeing how to make improvements, and it just pays off. I'm like, it was just. I would say unbelievable. You saw, so going back to, everybody's trying to do something for the benefit of the group, and you see what people are doing. Some people are doing a lot, and some people may not be doing so much. And when you see the group give a recognition to somebody who's doing a lot, that creates envy. You say, oh, I want that kind of recognition. I want that kind of honor and respect shown to me. And so you look for ways. It's like it's working with a person's natural drive, and the group benefits. the solidarity of the group, the unity, the connection, the, the growth, the development of the group. Because you got some people who will sit in the class and they won't say anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to ask a question. And there'll be somebody sitting there for years not saying anything. You probably be like, who is this person? I don't know who they are. And then another person will say like, this, y'all know this friend? He said he don't do nothing, but let me tell you, this friend, you got other people who will speak on their behalf. You know, because I don't, it's not really gonna happen when you're gonna ask a question and somebody's gonna be impressed by, oh, this person is smart. He asked a very smart question. That may impress somebody. For the most part, it don't really do it for me. But people find other ways because it's like you don't. You could try to appeal to the Rav. He ain't gonna get any brownie points. Like, he's not gonna be like, "Wow, you are very smart. You are a very, very smart man." And he don't do that kind of thing. Like I say, it's like he's not there. It's like he's there, but he's not there. He's there to keep everybody in line. But it ain't him that the people need to be trying to impress. They're trying to impress each other. They're trying to win hearts. Everybody's trying to steal hearts. Who can steal the most hearts? It's really like the winner. Like bingo. If you're able to do some kind of action or deed which the public unanimously agrees is good, then you move on to I would say level one of existence, of a different reality. Level zero is you hustling for love and attention and love and worthiness. You want it from the world. You want it unanimously, like absolute. Everybody want to be good. Like, I'm good. I know I'm good. You good? I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt. The person don't know they good. And that's one thing. You can say there's different levels, but everybody's good in the group. The group, the group is good, and if you're there in the group, then you're in. You can say you're just in a good environment. Now, that's where going back to sowing seeds. Now, to sow seeds in that environment, sow seeds of love. That's where you reap what you sow. You have to start working. And you can go in that environment. You can sit down in that classroom. You can attend virtually and not do anything. But if you're gonna feel some kind of connection from that, it's unlikely. Even though it's better than not doing anything, but there's really something to be had from sowing seeds in this environment because you see the same people every day. So if you do some If you want, like, say you did something good for, say it's 500 people. Let's just say it's 365 people. Make it very simple. And say you did something good. Say you just gave a compliment to a different person every day. So by the end of the year, you gave everybody a compliment. Now, they're going to see you every day, and you're going to see them every day. And if you don't say anything else, the last thing that they're going to remember from you most likely will be that compliment that you gave them. And if they see you, continue to see you, it's like, it really be like it adds interest, you know. So now, like, every time they see you, like, oh yeah, that's that guy who thinks this. That's that guy who said this about me. And every time they think about that, because every time they see you, it like, you know, that's one thing. Like, if you ever had that effect where you just saw somebody over and over again, and they start becoming attractive to you. They started, you know, just saying what the mind can't conceive, time will. Maybe when they first saw you, they just didn't really have a proper lens to observe you properly. But over time, they can, you know, seeing you different faces, different, but they see you, and just just to have somebody there present is is good. It's a benefit. You know, just to have somebody around, a familiar face. And then if that face is always linked to that compliment, it just be one compliment. That's all it takes. One compliment. And you be in that group for 10 years, and you know, that one little seed you sown to that person now has matured into fruit. That when you see that person, it's like, hey man, hey, you know, they have that kind of energy, like, because the seed that you sown in them is beginning to germinate. It's really like a garden, and the light is one attention. So you're seeing people every day, and people are making efforts to show love to the group and to members within the group, and it culminates. And with love, obviously comes hate. And there are people who do things that don't turn out right. You know, you see people messing up, making plenty of mistakes, but you see they're making an effort, they're struggling, and even that is something that is. Yeah, you see a grown man struggle, and he's struggling for love. He's struggling trying to learn how to love, how to learn how to be a better lover, to be a better man. You know, no matter how many times he trips and falls, and he gets back up every time. These are qualities that are. How many people fail and just, you know, they don't get back up? And how many times that somebody get rejected and you know you never see that person again? It's like, you know, you hurt their feelings and rubbed them the wrong way, and now they cut you off. You know, really. See, with this environment, it's not the people, it's the environment, it's the group, the method, the study. What is, you know, what's the absolute good there? It's from the source material. You say that this is this, these, you know, but it's how you study and how you, like, you have to attain it. come into this sense of clarity where you will see it with your own eyes. That's true. But you gotta grow up. And they don't make any apologies for this. So you gotta grow up. And just to show or tell people that no, this that you're at level zero. You're just thinking about yourself and concerned about pretty much your own interests and your own problems, and you're not thinking about others. So level zero, you're thinking about yourself. Level one is you start thinking about others. Because, like I say, level once you have something that you know everybody is good, and you know that can't be taken away, then you can say, oh, because there's a lot of people that are struggling to try to get to level one. I should say, level zero. That should be maybe we should 0, 1, 2. So level two is, I would say zero is that you're not even doing anything, and then one is that at least you are making efforts to do something. That's already a step above the rest. It's like the difference between standing still and somebody who's walking. One is going to get somewhere, and the other is not. So, you know, the person who's walking is trying to get to level two, try to reach that. It's not vertical, it's horizontal, or however you can say. There's like a ladder on an emotional, they would say spiritual or heartfelt level. You just know that, the issue of whether there's something good about you is no longer something that you have to wrestle with anymore. You just always, that one moment where you knew, it's not like it's a knowing. It is an absolute knowing. Absolute. It ain't if one person said it, you question, but you felt it. And it was in the public, and you felt it, and you knew that it didn't have anything to do with something it was from your heart. This is basically what it boils down to. First, I want to know, is their heart worthy of love? What's in their heart? Is there something about them with their heart that wants to love? And they'll use any means at their disposal to get it. They'll use their body, they'll use their voice, they'll use their skills, their talents, their material possessions. Some love is better than no love. But that real love is when the person loves you for yourself. And we never had an opportunity to get to know ourselves. When did we ever get a chance to expose our ignorance of what we do and what we don't know in a setting to where it was safe, to where it wasn't abusive? Saying the public schools is not a safe place. Anybody could just blurt out something disrespectful in class, and they may get punished. They may say, "Hey, don't talk like that," but the damage has already been done, and the school system don't really have factors in place to restore any damage. If you said some harsh words to somebody, those words forms walls to people, and that walls form separation, disconnection, and everything. And until that is addressed from the public, to the public says like that form of behavior is unacceptable. Somebody just said you're stupid, or somebody just said you're ugly, or somebody just said something negative about you. The public doesn't dismiss that as being false, and that person who it was said to will have issues. They will form walls up because they will not feel safe in that environment ever again, at least around those particular people. The heart is fragile. There's just no helping that. You see where you see people like put themselves out on YouTube, because that's also a medium where people can get attention and love. And you see all these nasty comments. It's like disgusting to somebody who's used to, eating good food, love. And you see people just coming at you with all this nasty stuff. You this and that and blah blah blah. And it's like, those words, if they were dependent on receiving love based on the comments, then it'll be contaminated. It may be very well some good comments. It could be very well that some people are like, wow, you have a beautiful heart. I love you. But if it's mixed in with a whole bunch of garbage, then, eating it will make you sick. There's no filter. So the society filters. It already sets the screen. It's like we want to let that fresh air in, but we want to keep all these bugs and mosquitoes from coming in. So we're not having somebody that's coming to suck on somebody's blood by sucking up the trust and the love from somebody by saying negative, disparaging things. Even if a person says something that is not so, you really want to say what's on your mind, like you stupid, or you this, or you that. But you have to respect the fact that it's not something that you want somebody saying to you. And it goes back to that golden rule. Love your fellow as you love yourself. What you don't want done to you, don't do unto others. And it gives a person a chance to practice. And behold, what a person finds out is that they see, like, wow, what's all this hate in me? This is, why do I, and it gives a person an opportunity to clear out, get rid of this hate. Because a lot of it had to do with what was implanted into them, what was imprinted into them in their childhood, growing up. Maybe they had parents that told them these people were bad, or this kind of behavior, or all these kind of false beliefs and stuff. It's just all in a person, and they just never had an opportunity where they could unpack and dust things off, clean them, and put them back in, or say, hey, I'm not putting this back in. I'm never going to use this word again because it hurts people, and I don't want to hurt people anymore. I don't want it. It just don't. It's like you clean. You become clean. When you're dirty and you feel dirt, then there's no problem with dirt. You didn't recognize your true self anymore. You see it with all this dirt and grime and mud. It blocks you from feeling fresh air and the warmth of the sun. And so, and it may even hard and thick. You may become numb. You can't even feel anything anymore. And when somebody starts chipping away and washing you off with all that dirt from you and rolling around in the sewer and mud. It's like this. It's like, oh, you can feel things more. You're more sensitive. That's what it means. That's what it feels like to be vulnerable. And it's like this is the only place where a person can. I would say it's like a baptism. A lot of things from the church started to make sense in this group. Like when a person becomes clean, sanctified, because you see what other people are doing, you see how it makes you feel. A person says this and a person does it, you feel it in your gut. Like, and that's if you are feeding solely from this environment. You could be feeding off somebody else, but you could be watching some other group and they just throwing out all kind of trash and garbage, and you eating from like it's like a person eating junk food, and then they eating healthy food, and then they're not able to taste the healthy food because the junk food is all filled with all these artificial sweeteners to give your tongue some kind of boost, but it doesn't do anything nourishing, nutritional for your body. And a person be like, "Hey, this food tastes better than that food," but the person goes on a diet and say, "Well, let me just restrict myself. Let me not eat this food, even though it tastes good. Let me just eat this food, even though it don't taste good, and let me just see what will be the results." And that takes some sacrifice. But what the result is that you you feel it. You know, you feel it. Like there used to be a time where I used to eat anything, all kind of foods, and I would get sleepy and tired. And I really thought that was just the normal effect of eating food. And I went on this fast for like 10 days. This cleanse, fast cleanse. And I didn't eat any food for those 10 days. I just drank some kind of liquid. After the fast, I went back to my regular diet, and I could feel like the food that I was eating, because I just ate what I normally eat, and it just made me sick. Like it not only made me sick, but it just made me lose a lot of energy and vitality. And from that point on, like I just could trust my gut on what foods were good and what foods were not good to eat. At least from you know, just a lot of foods that it was just like, if I eat this food and it makes me weak, then I would say it's not food that is nutritional. Or maybe I'm eating too much food or whatever the case may be. But regardless of the fact is, it's no longer a thinking decision. It's not something I have to think about. What should I eat? It's like now I could just go based on my feelings. What feels like my body loves this vitality, this energy that comes from eating certain foods that's filled with this energy versus eating this junk food that is probably just filled with a bunch of empty calories. So that's the same way how love works. If you've been eating, I would just say just garbage. you know, and that's all you're feeding on. Then it's not like give you something good to eat. I don't even think it will have any effect. If you're going by based on some like you getting, say it's a person receiving love from television. Say they are trying to identify with some character that they see on TV, and they say that person, me and that person are kind of one and the same. Like I look like them, I talk like them, I act like them. So the love that person is getting is love that whatever. Right? There's several ways you can live vicariously through people that you see on TV. So you're watching TV just to get some kind of gratification, feeling good. And you're getting, in the meantime, you're getting all these commercials thrown at you. I swear, like one commercial is enough to just make my stomach sick. It's absolutely disgusting to me. It's like it's so insulting. To me, it's like insanity. For anybody to eat something like that. It's like they just keep throwing it. It's like shoving it down your throat. I can't even go into the absurdity of somebody who's to actually do that to you. Like you just meet somebody and somebody come at you like how they do in a commercial, smiling in your face for some product. Hey, get my product and this will be, and they dancing around you or something like this. You flip out. It's like this is not civilized. This is not decent social decency. Not the way you talk to people. You do have salesmen that do certain things like this, but it's disgusting. It's repulsive in terms of love. Like, it's almost like you must really hate me if you think that I'm gonna buy into this message that you just. When I know full well that the only thing that you're after is money. And people are eating it. It's like that's the only thing that they can eat. I mean, there's people that don't have anything like that. The TV is the only thing that's cheating. In terms of any social, you just flip through a bunch of channels to try to find somebody that they can identify with. And then they would clothe in that when they go out into the outside world. Well, you know that person from that's who you see. I look like them. I act like them. And it's not even something. I mean, at this point, it's not something to even try to make fun of. It's really. Let me try to make fun of people who watch TV, and I'd be dead by tomorrow. People in very, very, in terms of love, poor conditions, and especially in America. I know there's people that are hurting. It'd be like, the only thing that they do only is just some love, just a little bit of love from the world. And they ain't got no love. I sometimes wonder how some people even manage to survive. Like to live in a world where you don't get no love. Nobody's. Most people, it got to be at least one person maybe has love. Now, if a person ain't getting no love, like this come turn to hate, misery, pain, suffering. And that's all they're gonna be able to give. They it's not that they want it, but that's all that they have to give. If you interact with them and you socialize with them and you feel miserable talking to them, you feel displeased, it's because that's what's in them. You know, we want to connect with others, but at the same time we want to, we don't feel like we don't feel that we're good for others. We feel like I got all this pain and hurt inside that you get too close, you may, it's like walking on landmines. I don't know. I know what's broken on the inside. I don't know when I blow up. I don't know when I'm not in control here. You understand? I go up and down and things of that nature. I don't know what's broke. I don't know why it's broke. I don't know how to fix it. You're happy and broke. I don't know how to fix it. The bottom line, everybody needs healing. Healing. It's not the time to be. I got a broken heart. It ain't nothing. That's the only problem they have. It may look like 1,001 problems, but the only problem is that their heart is broken. And if a person's heart is broken, ain't nothing is gonna bring them any contentment. It's like they're thirsty and they're like eating food to quench their thirst. They're not getting the source directly. Like it did get it in some other way. So, when you come to this group, they're giving all this food away. It's healthy, it's good for you. It's one of those things where you gotta fast in order to prepare your stomach, your appetite, to be able to observe it properly. And it's like you gotta wane off that other food, that junk food. It's a slow transition process to where you can end up in a situation where I'm in. Like you be in Atlanta, Georgia, the main physical group is all the way out there in Israel. And I connected them virtually. And it's like that's enough. This would be a time where I wanted to be physically there, but it's like it's not even needed. Just showing my face is enough for me. It's like that interest. It's like a spark. Like, hey, I collect. Now, this I know the seeds that I sown with other people, but all the seeds that people have sown into me are also growing. So every time I see them, that compliments their it just grows and it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. To where, I could be, you be in an environment where everybody, well, initially everybody hates you. Nobody knows you. They just hate who they think you are. That's based on your appearance and stuff. It don't really bother you until you can start to win people a hero. That's a different story. You already got to be at a level. It's got some compliments coming in. Oh, I love love now. Kids to I was walking the other day, and there's this daycare that has this outside area. I see these little kids playing outside. When you're walking by them, they always, "This is America, this is America," waving. There's this little girl. She was, I don't know what she was doing. Like she was trying to fight this little boy, or fight this boy. And I was like, why is this girl? She's smaller than the boy. I don't know why they fighting, or are they fighting? I don't know what they're doing. Kids. She's really trying to get into it. And I'm like, oh man, she's learning to be aggressive or something. And because some kids say this all kinds of, some will say ill. Sometimes I walk with my shirt off, and it's like, ill, he naked or something like that. So you never know what to expect. For the most part, the ones who see me mostly on a consistent basis, they be waving and everything. I remember seeing this girl. I'm seeing her. She's trying to fight this boy, and I'm thinking, like, what's going on with her? And she turns around, and then she sees me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, she just goes and goes back to fighting, and I was like, oh, arrows to the heart. Mm. Yeah, I could feel it. You can just feel, especially when you're just sweet. It just feels so good. And even from everybody, from men, from just when everybody, whoever people, they see you long enough, they become familiar with you. They have to know. Here, you see a person walking around every day, you have to know one thing: that this person has to know right from wrong. Because these people will kill you in a heartbeat out here. I said, I was telling somebody today, I've been out here for at least over a year, and I had 8 guns pointed at me so far. If I was said or did the wrong thing, so they see you every day. And most people don't walk because of this. They just don't want to get shot or put themselves in any kind of danger. So they see me walking almost every day, and it's just like, I probably would assume for the most part, like, you still alive? So, but anyway, just like today on my walk, my walk, I used to walk for like hours and hours and hours. walk today just on a short walk. Man, it was, oh my goodness, it was just like pushing that button in my heart. Like, hey, it was like, I love you, man. I love you, man. I love you, man. It's like, injuries are strangers to me, but it's not the case where I'm a stranger to them because they see me. But they're in cars and stuff. And there's a few of them who I do, or not who I know that when I see them, I try to get them before they get me and try to speak and say something. And, but here it's like it's been plenty of people who, you just see for a short period of time, you don't see it. And there's been several cars where I would know the car. It's like every time I see that car, they always have something. They bump the horn or speak or say something. It's just so touching. But you know, you stop seeing them again. I realize people here move. Like always, they're moving. This is how the property is laid out. You see nobody owns nothing here for the most part. So it's like you're there for maybe 1 year. It's gotta keep moving. So in this environment where you see people daily, it's like it builds up that rapport, it builds up that trust, and you can just open up a little bit more to them. And that's where it's like real education begins to form. Because you learn from them, you just learn about us. You learn about people. You learn about our soul. What connects us together. You might say we're not connected. That's at level zero. Level one is where you are working on cultivating the connection. Level two is when you in the connection. You feel it, you see it, you sense it, you live it. I see the connections and strains from Atlanta to Israel. Mhm. You know how to, what people don't want is shame. They don't want you shaming them. They don't want you making them the blame for everything that goes wrong in the world. You know what's wrong with the world? You. It's your fault. Really? That's what people don't want. What people do want, on the other hand, is they would like for you to make it feel like they're responsible for all the good things. I mean, that makes sense, but hey, the world is a brighter place because of you. And on a level that it's like light, wherever there's not light, there's darkness. So if you with a person you can't feel their light, it could be that the absence of light is darkness. So if I can't feel your warmth, if I can't feel your love, then it's as though there's this void that I get when I talk to you. It's like I'm talking into this black hole. It's, it's like I don't know where I'm at anymore, and you just feel like in your world there's just nothing but chaos. Somebody open your mouth and say something to you, and it makes you feel like, damn, where am I? The person just made me feel like I'm a cockroach or something. They relate it to me as though in their eyes, I swear up and down that I'm like, you know, I'm like somebody that don't even belong on this planet. Some people make people feel that way. Some people will be shaming and condemning people. And then you meet somebody who just, oh my goodness. It's always the young ones who really, their words really pierces the heart. There's some young ones that I just like, yeah, I had to have to take a knee to. Like, I can't believe you just told me that, man. That's like, my heart's about to blow up right now. Like, oh my God, I'm forever in your debt. Like, I was like, oh, oh. I never knew that about me until you just said it. It's like somebody's blessing you. And every time you see them, it's not even that. Like those words still stand. As long as they, what I call like praying for somebody. I'm not gonna say praying for somebody. You're just thinking about somebody in your heart. And you really are like hoping the best for them. There's one guy who I be walking and the guy would he'd be selling water on the corner. And when I first walked by him a few times, he just ignored me completely. And at some point, his attitude changed to where it just became absolute respect. One was certainly had to do with how I crossed the street. I seen how he crossed the street, and I just see how he was like upset because the cars wasn't. And especially he's a younger guy, so I already know that respect is very big with him. And so anyway, I don't know why, but I know like how to relate to cars is also like this new thing that we have to learn how to do in society. What cars will run you over and stuff. It ain't about who got the right of way or anything. It's about who's not. You ain't trying to get hit by no car. I'll wait for that light. I'll wait for this safe and sound for me to walk at a decent pace. So at any rate, this guy he always give me water now. And I would take it, and I started feeling shameful. I'm like, damn, man, this guy's like shaming me. Like, he always got something good to give me, and I ain't got nothing to give him. Not even a compliment, anything. He's actually giving me something of like a physical resource and be insistent about it. Hey, you want some water? Here's some water, man. Hey, got your water? I'm like, the last time I told her, I said, so you gonna say no, man. I don't want. I said, but I want you to know why I don't want, because I feel shame. It's enough that you are willing to give it to me. I take that water, I will feel shame. And then we both had a good laugh about it. There's been plenty of people that got me like that. There's little girls that was giving me water, shaming me to death. Every time they saw me, they give me water. I went and picked some, I ain't even gonna say flowers, but it was some kind of flowers. I guess it's not even flowers. Like I don't know what you can call these things that grow from a tree that's colorful. And I picked them, And I hid it behind my back and said, "Hey, I want to give you guys this." And the little girl said, "I ain't taking that." I said, "Take it and throw it down." You know, like you're gonna take this. Like it's like no one's ever gave her. Maybe she didn't trust me. They just didn't understand me. It's like, you guys are shaming me. You know? Shit. If I ever embarrassed myself giving you these cheap flowers, so be it. It's the thought that counts. And so she took it. And then then I could give them compliments. You're sweet, a beautiful, beautiful spirit, stuff like that. For the young women, complimenting them is very easy. Like, maybe eating it up. You know that, you know, because it's like that's just the natural thing to do. They're just lovable. They haven't turned bitter yet. Because they go out that house every day and it's like, hey world. And most time they come back disappointed. So to see how like fast that's accelerated when you're just in a concentrated place where people agree to be at a specific time and place every day. And when I be interacting with people on the street, I don't know when I'll see them. It could be some every day, once every week, whatever. I probably getting so much love from just innate roots, just from this environment. It's like, it's like when your cups get full, it's like, man, hey, you gotta let this thing spill. Just give it to somebody. Hey, as they say, send your bread. The cobblers would say, like, send your bread down the river. Oh my goodness, I love these guys. Now some of the stuff they writing now is starting to it's like the heart's starting to see. It ain't the mind that really is getting it. But when you start opening up, these things start to make sense. They call it the authentic wisdom. I think it's the authentic wisdom of Kabbalah, or the authentic. It's like wisdom. It's like seeing. And you see, it's like I see, I see, I see. It's like a star. And follow that star. The person wants to get their freedom.